Well, hello everybody. How's everybody doing this lovely evening? How you doing, Miss Alice?
Doing good.
So today Across the Wave comes at you live from Tinkerbell and Alice Lugo Studios only. Just so that you guys know, Cruising with Keith is sick, and Mike and Rihanna had a prior arrangement before today. So it's going to be just me and Alice, and we actually have backstage Eddie Lugo Studios in the house.
Hey, hey.
I know, right? Yo, 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 Brooklyn in the house. So we're gonna go ahead and start our show, and we have a guest with us today. So we're gonna present our guest once our show has completed our part, and then we're gonna present her, and we're gonna bring her in, and we're gonna have all these questions. It's gonna be a great time. So just so that you guys know, if you're coming in new, this is Across the Way show. We're coming today from the port of Anchorage, Alaska. So, and usually you see us here, Tinkerbell, Alice Lugo Studio, Cruising with Keith, Mike, and Rihanna, and Rihanna's Life Adventure. But because Keith and Mike and Rihanna are not available today, Eddie is helping us out today. So thank you so much for coming. Let me see really quickly who's here just to say hello before we start our show. So we have Alice Lugo Studios. We have Eddie Lugo Studios in the house. Hello, M. How are you? Hi,
Hi,
Miss
Emily.
Becky. How are you, Mama? Thank you for being here today, both M and Bethany. So we're going to start our show today. We're going to bring you guys the part of history. Alice is going to continue to do her part with the excursion. And Eddie will be doing the news today. And then we'll bring in our guest, and she's going to talk about all things Anchorage. So it's going to be a great time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. Oh, really, Eddie? You don't turn on the pineapple? Eddie think it's late night, so he's like, let me bring the pineapple. We can't hear you, Eddie.
It's a little bit almost after dark, so hey.
That is true. Hey, Nancy, how are you? That's Cruising with Keith, Mom. Thank you for being here, Miss Nancy, today. So today we're going to be talking about the port of Anchorage, and let's see right now. So hold on a second. So I'm going to put you guys on the backstage, and we're going to go back in here. And I just had I want to show you what the port of Anchorage used to look like back then. This is what it used to look like. When I was looking into the history of that area, this is what the port used to look like back in the like the 19, I think it was 1918 or something like that. And but today, this is what the port looks like as of today. So it has improved a whole lot in that port. So we're gonna start our show tonight, and we're going to talk about the history of Anchorage. So the port of Anchorage is a deep water port in Anchorage, Alaska, with 3 bulk carrier berths, 2 petroleum berths, and 1 barge berth. The name was changed from Port Anchorage to the Port of Alaska in 2017. It is an enterprise department of the municipality of Anchorage, is a distinguished from other types of municipal departments largely because it generates enough revenue to support its own operations without being a burden to Anchorage property taxpayer. And it also pays a fee in lieu of taxes to help run the city government. And the POA provides critical transportation infrastructure to the citizens of Anchorage and a majority of the citizens of the state of Alaska, both within and beyond the rail belt. 74% of all waterborne freight and the 95% of the refined petroleum products entering the state through South Central Alaska ports is shipped through the Port of Alaska. This includes 100% of the jet fuel supply to Joint Base to join base and approximately 66% of the jet fuel for Ted Stephen Anchorage International Airport. The port director is appointed by the mayor and reports to the municipal manager. There is a nine-person commission and is also appointed by the manager, responsible for all the port terminals and tariff. Despite its enterprise distinction, the port acts as a standard municipal department, with the Anchorage Assembly approving its annual budget, contracts, tariffs, and lease. Additional needed legal, financial, and other day-to-day support are provided for a fee. By the appropriate general government, departments are acting as an extension of the port staff. All port operating activities are subject to a municipal code. The history of the Port of Alaska began operating in September of 1961, and its first year of over 38 tons of marine cargo move across a single berth. It is the only port in South Central Alaska, and it survived in 1964 Good Friday earthquake, and it became the main shipping hub of consumer essential goods. Entering South Central Alaska, the port was since expanded to a 5-berth terminal, providing facilities for the movement of container freights, iron and steel products, bulk petroleum, and cement. The peak of the port operations occurred in 2005, when for the first time more than 5 million tons of various commodities moved across its dock. The port celebrated its 50th year of service in 2011. In late 1990s, following studies of the projected future needs, geotechnical and structural design studies and environmental assessment prepared under the direction of the U.S. Maritime and Administration. And finally, environmental assessment identified a proprietary design, also known as open cell sheet pile, as the preferred alternative for all the wharf and berthing area of the new expansion project. Construction began in 2006 in the area known as the North Backlands. Installation of the OCSP system began in 2008, and the result was a creation of a barge berth, approximately 60 acres of new land. The existing port is was substantially built in the late 1950s and has reached an end of its useful life. Beginning in 2017, the Port of Alaska is undertaking an extensive 7-year Anchorage port modernization project to upgrade its aging infrastructure, support larger, deeper draft vessels, and future-proof of the port environmentally for another 75 years. So, guys, this is the information for the history of that port. So we're going to bring you now information about what you can do around, the port area.
Hey, thank you, Tinkerbell. And before I talk about the port area and things that you could do, and I'm going to share some facts about Anchorage as well, I'd like to say hello to some of the people that have come in. So we have Orange Cone Vlog. Good evening, Ross. And we have Cruise Nuts. Hello, Mike and Tracy, if you're there. And we also have, we said hello to Emily. Bold Lion, welcome. Marjorie Ambrose, welcome in. And so one other person that came, we had Nancy already, and then there was Be Kind, Oklahoma. So welcome in. We're so glad that you're here supporting our channels and across the waves. So Tinkerbell, if you'll put up the first picture that I sent you. No, not that one. Are they not in order? All right, I'll talk about this one. Oh, it's a map. If you see the map. Okay, so the cruise terminal is about a 30 to 40-minute ride from the airport in Anchorage. And most people that go on a cruise from Alaska, they don't leave out of Anchorage because it's mostly an industrial port, like Tinkerbell had shared. And they sometimes they'll fly in because there are a lot of things to see in Anchorage, but then their cruise will leave out of one of two other ports, which is Seward or Whitehair. I'm not sure that I pronounced them right, but anyway. And so to get to, around Anchorage, there is a railroad station, and it's, I don't think Tinkerbell has the picture, but I'll just show you the picture here. This is the railroad that they have. And it's been around for 90 years, and it's connected many of Alaska's most popular destinations, like Anchorage and Denali National Park, Girdwood, Talkeetna, Fairbanks, and more. And today, the railroad offers an array of day trips, such as the railroad to Seward for a wildlife and glacier cruise, as well as multiple destinations, vacations, packages that include the rail, accommodations, and activities. Adventures abounds at the Spencer Glacier Whistle Stop. It's a backcountry paradise developed in partnership between the railroad and the Chugach National Forest Service. And you could go there for guided hikes, rafts amid the glacier icebergs, or you could go ice climbing on the glacier itself. The railroad also offers daily summer access to national parks, and you could travel around the railroad. It ensures that the journey will be just as spectacular as the destination. Incredible views unfold along the tracks, and knowledgeable tour guides share the stories behind the sights. There are two classes of passenger service. One is a glass domed Gold Star service, and that includes dining, and it's comfortably appointed adventure class. And you can visit alaskarailroad.com to learn more about it if you plan on going to Alaska on a cruise, or you just want to visit Alaska. I would suggest going in the warmer months, in the summer, our summer, because it won't be as cold. It's still cold, but not as much. And here we have Downtown and South Edition, which is one of the neighborhoods. And it encapsulates the community's buzz and blend of urban and wild. You could go fish for king salmon in Ship Creek, and then treat yourself to some fresh seafood at an upscale restaurant, which is just a short stroll away, and catch a show at Town Square Park. And you'll see Performing Arts Center there, and also Tony Knowles Coastal Trail. And that's 11 miles of scenic Anchorage shoreline. It ties to many other city trails and neighborhoods. So within Alaska, in Anchorage, I have a map. It's like a street map of Anchorage. I don't know if you have that, Tinkerbell. But there's a Centennial Rose Garden, the Star of the Reindeer, Hope War Memorial, Town Square Park, a historic Kimball building, Anchorage Lightspeed Planet Walk, Anchorage Mushin District, Alaska Public Lands Information Center, Sleeping Lady Memorial, Resolution Park. There's a Grandma Olga statue, and the Crystal Worrell Memorial. And so if you see these dots here, the blue dots, it shows you how close everything is to each other in Anchorage. Okay, so now I would like to share with you 9 surprising facts about Alaska. Okay. Oh, Anchorage, Alaska, to be specific. Okay. So the most famous is a local reindeer. Can you put up that reindeer, Tinkerbell? There you go. An Anchorage reindeer is a resident, and his name is Star. And he is in a cozy pen on the Delaney Park Strip along downtown's southern edge. And Star the reindeer lives a quiet life. The charismatic ungulate is the latest in a line of antlered occupants, and each one has been named Star, that have called Anchorage home since 1960. You can visit Star at home along 10th Avenue or catch up with him on leashed walks around town. And Star has his caretaker, and they take part in many local celebrations like 4th of July and many others. And the school buses, when they go by, they'll even stop along that road so the children could get off the bus and go say hello to Star. And visitors will stop by and take pictures with Star. And I believe the current reindeer named Star is the 9th, I think it's the 9th one in its line. And they keep the same reindeer until old age or whatever, and it passes on. And they didn't want people to get confused. And that's why each reindeer that comes next has the name Star. The city can get 22 hours of daylight. There's a sunset, but it will be a while. And on summer solstice, the sun barely squeaks below the horizon, and streetlights don't come on. Anchorage makes the most of that light, hosting a summer celebration downtown. Can you show the next picture? There we go. This number 3 fact is surfers ride a tidal wave. And Anchorage has some of the greatest tidal swings in the world. That big difference between high and low tides generates a wave in turn-again arm large enough to surf. And wet-clad surfers time the tide to catch the wave as it rolls along the coast south of Anchorage. And number 4, Anchorage's unofficial Olympic sport is all about fish. And you could show the Welcome to Bear Pour. This is one of the festivals that Anchorage holds each year. And during this festival, they have the Slippery Salmon Olympics challenges, and competitors to race while wrangling a slimy, slick, wild Alaska salmon, and cheer on your favorite teams. And they hope they don't lose their grasp on the official fish of the festival. Can you imagine running a race holding a fish in your mouth? I love salmon, but no, I wouldn't want to have to run in that race. But this happens at Bear Pour, and it takes place in mid-July in the Eagle River. The next thing that they do, the number 5, is they have an outhouse race, and they speed along Main Street. So the Alaskans vie for a very different throne, with teams racing outhouses mounted on skis. And the event is part of Anchorage's Fur Rendezvous, and teams show off their speed in drag race style, head-to-head heats. The event is flushed with bathroom humor, and teams choose names ranging from Pearl to risk and design and decorate inventive outhouses. I don't know about that one, but at least you're not in the outhouse as you're running. Hopefully not. But if you have to go during the race, you have a place to go. Plenty to choose from. Number 6 is the whole city was once under a glacier. And tens of thousands of years ago, a massive glacier covered what is now Anchorage. And as a result, the city is relatively flat place. Even with so many mountains nearby, sharp-eyed observers can find evidence of the city's glacial past, from silty soils ground down by glaciers to kettle ponds and ancient moraines to the many glaciers near Anchorage today. And number 7, keeping toasty means a throwback from the Ice Age. While the ice cover in Anchorage receded thousands of years ago, a different vestige of the Ice Age is still going concern. The musk ox's wool evolved to keep the animal comfy in these very cold conditions. It did the job so well, the musk ox survived to present day, and foragers collect tufts of fur to be spun into wool and then knitted into caps and scarves and other goods by a cooperative spread across Alaska. So you'll have plenty to keep you warm if you get a musk ox item. And number 8, you can blame being late to work on a moose. So you call your boss and you say, I'll be in as soon as he moves. Mooses are everywhere in Anchorage, and occasionally this means one preempts the morning commute by taking a rest in the yard. Residents know a lazy moose bedded down next to the driveway is cause enough to delay the trip to the office, and the moose will pick up and go when they feel like it. Oh my goodness. And number 9, you'll get hooked on urban fishing. Suits and salmon coexist in Anchorage, or at least they would if Anchorage was the kind of place anyone wore a suit. In bustling downtown Anchorage, commerce and casting for fish are in the same place. Ship Creek is just off 2nd Avenue, yet it is packed with king and silver salmon all summer long. There's even a fishing derby for anglers hoping to hook the heaviest king of the year. So there you have it. 9 surprising things about Anchorage, Alaska. And now we'll go to Eddie to bring us some news.
I'm gonna try. Hold on. I don't. Thank you, Alice. And by the way, I don't sound like Keith, but I'm gonna try to do my best. So I'm gonna let you guys know about the weather in Anchorage, Alaska, which we go by this. This is by Aaron Morrison. I'm a meteorologist. So things are beginning to quiet down across South Central Alaska following the widespread snow we saw Tuesday. Officially, Anchorage saw nearly 6 inches of snowfall, which brings our seasonal totals to 58.2 inches. Ouch! About 99% of that snow fell since November 5th, averaging out to 1.5 inches of snowfall a day since then. It has certainly been an active and stormy winter season so far. This is now the snowiest start to a season on record through December 12th. Additional snow looks like today, with many areas picking up a few more inches. Some of the higher totals will likely occur throughout the Turnagain Pass, Portage Valley, and into Whittier. It's here where we could see up to 2 to 4 inches of additional snow throughout the day. Use caution on the roads today as hazardous travels remain. Tow trucks are out on the roads, and with the possibility of some limited visibility, you want to drive slow enough to remain safe. As the node tappers up today, we'll see a return to colder, sunnier conditions. Overnight low drops into the single digits and tends to night, with some isolated parts of the south central dropping below zero. This stretch of cold weather stays with us throughout Friday before more snow returns into the weekend. With the way things have been trending, it is possible Anchorage could approach its seasonal snowfall average before the end of the month. While South Central is gearing up for drier weather, runs of rain and snow continue to impact Southeast Alaska. The flood watch has been allowed to expire, but any additional rain and snowfall could lead to some minor flooding concerns. Expect an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain throughout Thursday, with some areas of winter mix in the forecast. Many areas across Southeast have already seen 2 to 3 inches of rain, so any additional amounts will continue to add to the threat of minor flooding. Looking ahead throughout the next 2 weeks, a seasonal to slightly above seasonal weather patterns look to emerge for the eastern third of the state. It is certainly something to watch as we could see a surge of warmer temperatures leading up to the temperatures. Have a wonderful and safe week. And this is all I have about the weather and news for Anchorage, besides, other things that are related to. But for right now, I will talk to you about the weather up there in the state of Alaska. Back to you.
Thank you, Eddie. And thank you, Alice, for everything. So right now, what we're going to do, and here and across the way, we're going to bring our guest in so that you guys get to meet. Most of you have already known her because she's sometimes coming on our show. Her name is Margot Anchorage, because she is from Anchorage, Alaska. Welcome, Margot, to our show. How are you?
Welcome in.
Welcome. So, Margot, what can you tell us about your beautiful state of Anchorage? Since you already heard all this other stuff before.
Alice and Eddie did such a good job. I don't know why I'm here. And who wants to come visit Anchorage in the winter, right? After that news story, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of snow, because I know you were telling me earlier that you guys were under a lot of snow up there right now.
And we felt it every 58 inches is almost 5 feet.
Wow.
It's been over 2 months, and usually we get that in 1 year. So it's been a lot.
So I do have a question for you, Margot. So what can you tell us a little bit about this port of Anchorage? Because I know for a lot of people it's a port, but it's not really like a cruise ship port. I know that you had mentioned that there's a ship that goes there maybe twice a year. So can you give us a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, so that's kind of a common misconception that like all the ships go into that port of Anchorage. There have been this summer, we had the New Amsterdam and the Noordam that came in. I mean, those were just the only two ships, and they only came in once. But predominantly, you're going to be, if you're Holland or Princess, you're going to be in Whittier, and that's an hour and a half away. Or you're going to be in Seward, which is about 2.5 hours away. So just understand and keep that in mind that if you're flying into Anchorage to get to your port, it's not right there. It's not right there in the port of Anchorage, unless you're that anomaly of going in, So there's a couple ways to get to Whittier. You can take the train, like Alice was saying, there's a train that goes through, and there's a tunnel, which is kind of cool, that takes you under the mountain and you arrive into Whittier. It is a year-round open port. Beautiful. The cool thing about Whittier is everybody in Whittier lives in this one condo. Like their school, their church, their grocery store is in this one condo building. So that's kind of cool.
One's a building, a city on a building.
Yeah, exactly. So not much to do there. So I definitely suggest staying in Anchorage the night before and then taking the train or there's buses. I've been told you can take an Uber there, but definitely you want to make sure you do that early and not do it last minute. When you're driving or taking the bus into Whittier, it's a one-way road into Whittier under that tunnel. So you're sharing it with the train. So just keep that in mind that you could be waiting for the train to get through before you can get through.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's
So
great.
yeah, but Whittier, it's great. There's short excursions. There's things to do there. The second one, which is most all the other cruise ships go into there, Norwegian, Celebrity, Royal, Regent, they go into Seward, and that's 2.5 hours from Anchorage. And that is in our Kenai Peninsula area. It's the Alaska's playground, if you will. And Seward is great. You've got 2 or 3 operators that will do fishing, wildlife viewing. You have Exit Glacier where you can drive. It's just a couple miles outside of the port of Seward, and you can drive up there and walk to the glacier. You have this Seward Aquarium. I highly recommend that aquarium. It's was given by donations from the Exxon Valdez spill. And all of those animals were rehabilitated animals. They're brought in being hurt from different boating accidents or different kinds of accidents. So I feel like that's a donation almost, to go visit there. So plenty of stuff. And that's a bigger town, a little bit bigger town. There's restaurants, there's hotels, nice lodges to go to and see. So you could spend a couple of days there before your cruise and relax and then get on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jennifer from Embarkation Nation just said that she stayed at the Anchorage at the Captain Cook Hotel. She said it's very pretty and he had to wait on the train, but it was so cold and worth the wait.
Yeah, that's a big I believe Holland and Princess, that's one of their hotels that they charter. That one and the Hilton and Marriott. So those are all really nice hotels, and they're all downtown. You could walk from Captain Cook or the Hilton to the train. You just kind of go down this winding. But if you have luggage, I would just a couple dollars Uber it, down to the train station.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That is awesome. Yeah, she said she cruised on Princess. That's what she was saying.
okay.
Yeah.
That is so neat.
Margo,
So,
how long?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. How
No,
long
go ahead.
have you lived in Anchorage?
Off and on since I was 18, so 30 years. But I left a few times. I was in the military prior to me being in the travel industry, and so I left and came back. So I would say total maybe 24 years total,
Okay.
but with some breaks in between going down to Texas and Utah and DC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you
So
get,
what-
I'm sorry, Alice, do you get accustomed to living in Anchorage versus where you used to live? Is it because I'm guessing it's a big difference, right?
It is. Things take a little longer to get here. The shipping is like, I don't know what I would do without Amazon. Because if you go into a lot of that's one of the things I think everybody like in the lower 40, we call you guys lower 48 people. Everybody in the lower 48, it's just everything's instant, Instacart, Instagram,
Yes.
and it takes a few more days. So
We're spoiled.
yeah, like we renovated this condo here, and to get furniture took over a year. So just with the shipping containers, and then we're still kind of in this post-COVID delay of things. So it took a little longer. So even Amazon, you might get it in a day, it might take us 5 days. Department stores sometimes won't let you, it'll say, except for Alaska.
Wow.
I've seen that.
But food is a little bit more expensive, but not too bad. It's gotten better. I think 20 years ago, there was quite a bit of a difference in food, but I think I've noticed that it's not as bad now. We're kind of a weird, if it wasn't for oil and federal subsidies, I don't think Anchorage would exist, just because of we are almost an island. I mean, if you think about it, we have a country in between us and
Right.
Washington. So there's a lot of if you look at it on paper, we shouldn't exist because everything would be too expensive. I mean, look at Hawaii, it's super expensive there. But I think oil really helped us. And
Right.
yeah, just, and there's a lot of, we're big. And that's another thing that people I think don't realize is they come here and they think, well, I'm just going to take a day trip to Denali. Yeah, no, from Anchorage. And you're not going to go straight, right? Because you're going to want to stop and see stuff. You're talking 6-7 hours. And so that's going to be more than a day.
Alaska is like a whole different country up there.
Mhm.
I mean, like a country of its own.
I've actually had people, and I mean, master's graduate people ask me, do you use dollars or Canadian dollars? I'm like, no, we use US. Don't worry, you're good.
What is the cost of a gallon of gas?
It just went down. I think it's like $3.50 something
Okay,
now,
that's-
which like
That's
it's up to $4. That's another weird thing too. We get all the oil here, but we have to bring it down to the lower 48 to process it, and then
Yep.
it comes back up. So
Yep.
it makes it more expensive.
Wow, that's crazy.
But even for $3.50, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yes, that's a good deal.
It's
like almost $7 in
$3.19
California.
right
Yeah.
now.
California is like,
$3.19 in
$7.
Georgia.
Hmm.
We don't have sale. Okay, you shoppers, we have no sales tax. So that's great.
Because of the native Indians or being a native state?
No, I think because of now our property taxes are high, but tourists, don't. Well, I guess you'll kind of feel that in the hotel taxes, but
Yeah.
we just because of how we are, how we're. I mean, who knows next year? If somebody votes it in, but right now we have no income tax and no sales tax
Wow.
in Anchorage. Wasilla, if you go down, Wasilla is 45 minutes away. They have their own little city tax. It's not a lot, but yeah, Anchorage right now has no sales tax. So, there is a alcohol tax for you people that like to wine.
Because there's a lot of drinking up there, huh? Yes.
A lot of party.
It's I think there's a show called Alaska Daily, and we saw the whole season, and we got to see some of the stuff in Anchorage and all that, and hear some of the stuff that is going on. They don't tell you it's a like blue coated, sugar coated kind of show, but at the same time, you get to see how the upper state lives. So and it's always cold and stuff like that. I'm like, I know the air must be very nice to breathe in and all that because of nature, but it's a rough life. You gotta have some, bronze to be up there. So I don't see myself living up there. No.
Well, that's good.
I'm where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not moving anymore.
Like any big city, we have our issues.
Yeah, yes.
There's definitely stuff going on, and one thing that is changing, and I don't know if you've noticed. So one big thing to mention, Denali Mountain, right? It used to be called Mount McKinley, and now it's changed to the native. It's always been called also Denali, but now it's like officially Denali. Some of the other native villages, don't ask me how to pronounce it, but it was Barrow. So everybody knows North Slope Barrow. It's now it's a name. It's a native Alaskan name, and I don't want to butcher it. But so they're trying to change some of that, and some of the schools are now teaching native languages so that they don't
Nice.
disappear, which I think is awesome.
Yes.
They're reteaching how to sew the cuspics. I have one, it's really cute, cuspics and the different clothing that they wore. So they're kind of trying to bring back some of those traditions so the kids can learn or relearn and keep that traditions going.
Keep it
So,
alive, yes,
cool.
for the future generations. Very
Wow,
nice.
that's awesome.
Yes, incredible. Yes, very nice. Yes. Jennifer did mention that they did the tunnel also that you guys were talking about earlier.
Right.
Very nice. I we're hoping Sunday to go to Alaska and take a cruise up there eventually. So, but there's no immediate date for it right now. Once we get our budget prepared, me and Alice will definitely want to go up there, and hopefully 26 to 27 we get to go up there and mess around or something. But I just want to go visit. I just want to go see, go up to Denali and see the mountains and hopefully find me a little piece of goldish rock.
I get, I guess a question I get a whole lot from people is what to wear, right? The cruise season is May to September. Shoulder season tends to be cheaper, so May, September, but then that's a little bit chillier. However, it's out it's just whatever. You could have 40 degrees or 70 degrees in the summer, so just bring layers is the best recommendation. Layers and a nice raincoat, not too heavy. And that sounds funny to say in Alaska, but you're bringing all these layers. You want like a jacket that's you can cover up over the layers, and it's thin enough that you can take off or whatever. But definitely want it waterproof. You're going into a rainforest most of the cruising that you're going to do because you're in the inside passage. And that's that little stretch of, so, if Alaska's like this, then you've got that little, that's got the Juneau and Ketchikan and Skagway. And so that little area right there is the inside passage, and that's all rainforest. It's beautiful, it's green, but you're going to get wet at some point. But it's not a downpour. It's kind of a misty, rainy, but it does sink into you. So you want a good waterproof layer over all your clothes. So that's definitely a good recommendation.
Alice got the experience. We went to the El Juncan, Puerto Rico rainforest in Puerto Rico, and we got wet big time.
Yeah. I didn't have the right shoes on.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was not warned. Well, he told me we were going to Puerto Rico. I mean, to Florida. And last minute surprised me, and we went to Puerto Rico.
Oh wow. So see, Eddie, you didn't have her properly get her proper shoes and stuff.
She did great. She did great. We had a great time.
We have a question from M. Is it true that weather changes all the time, every day?
It feels like it. Sometimes, like in the morning, the fog will roll in and it'll be quite cool. And then the fog will lift, and then, you've got a bright sunny day. So that's why it's so important to bring layers. And I can't, it's hard to tell people exactly what to bring because, Tinkerbell could run hot and Alice, you could run cold. So whatever you're normally like, if you're normally the one that's always cold, bring layers.
Right.
But like I said, in the summer, especially in Juneau, Ketchikan, they can have nice sunny 70-degree days, and the kids are running around in shorts, and you're in your parka. so make sure you can like have the ability to peel off the layers as you're walking and doing excursions.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've seen some people that have blogged over there that go in with all this stuff, and then they come back to and they don't have no jackets or nothing. I'm like, okay, what happened? So that's good. That's good to know.
Got warm really quick.
I know. Well, not only that, if you ever go to Anchorage, now you have Margot. You could go visit Margot over there.
Right.
For a nominal fee. So why Anchorage, Margot? Why are you there? Are you originally from Alaska, or are you from the lower 48?
No, like most people, unless you're native, most people came up here, they're transplants for work. And my work was, originally I was in the Navy, and the Navy brought me up here. And I worked at Elmendorf Air Force Base, which is now Joint Elmendorf Richardson Air Base. And so, yeah, I was in the military, and that's how I met my husband. And then we were up here. I got out of the Navy, joined the Air Force, and then the Air National Guard. So that kind of kept me here. But I did move around a lot to do different assignments and orders. Went to DC, went to Texas, went to Utah,
Oh, nice.
and came up here. But yeah, it's a different kind of. I always say Alaska is like kind of Hotel California. You always seem to people leave, but they always seem to kind of come back. You got that
First of all-
bug. It's the summer is just, and I'm not a hunter or fisherman, so that's not why I'm up here. It's just the beauty, and like you said, Eddie, I can breathe better. I feel like I can breathe better up here, and it doesn't get old. Walking outside where I live, I walk outside, and the Chugach Mountains are right there, and it's just like, wow, I live here. Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, we have a question from Jennifer. Is Peggy's still there?
Yes. They keep hinting that they're going away, but Peggy's Pies are still there right on Fifth Avenue. They're famous for their pies. We have I think it's the most busiest civil aviation airport called Merrill Field. And it's right across Peggy's is right across the street from there. So there's a lot of pilot community that likes to go there. Somebody said there's more people have pilot's license than driver's license in Alaska. Because, Juneau, fun fact, Juneau, you can't get to it by car. So, it's either, they say it's either by boat, by plane, or by birth canal. So.
Wow.
Like I was referring to this show, Alaska Daily and ABC. They show a lot of that stuff. People flying, and so it's the only way to get there. It's flying. Another one is no way to drive and stuff like that. I'm like, wow.
Now, are you talking about the show like with Hillary Swank?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one.
Now, that's a TV show.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I say, a lot of the stuff is sugar coated and stuff like that. But at least you get to see the part of the city, I know some of the stuff is filming in Canada anyway, or wherever they're filming. So,
And
but,
to the lady that talked about the Captain Cook, Hillary Swank's hotel is the Captain Cook.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah.
That is
But a
pretty
lot of that's not
Yeah.
filmed. So here's the thing: it's expensive to film in Alaska. So
Yes.
they'll go in and do drone pictures of a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Like they did drone pictures of the Captain Cook and all that. And then they'll come back and they'll film it wherever, like Canada or wherever. So a lot of that show is not actually filmed in Alaska, but they'll film like
Wow.
the overhead shots. Yeah.
That's really cool to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Margot, if you ever see Eddie around Anchorage, it's because he's going to Peggy's for the pie.
There you go.
Remember that. Just make sure you have his cup of coffee ready and a piece of pie.
That's
His favorite is pecan pie.
Oh, well, there you have it. That is so cool. That's good to know, because sometimes you watch these shows and you really think it's, you're looking at Alaska, and probably you don't know where you're looking at.
No. Like
That's
back in the 80s and 90s, it used to be a lot of real parts. Nowadays, it's a lot of CGI and a lot of effects and
Yeah.
made to look like, and studios and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
So, Margot, I have a question. Have you found any gold?
Oh.
ooh.
So when I was in Skagway, I did a cruise in Skagway and kind of wanted to do a different one. So I did the Gold Dredge tour. I don't know if you've heard of that. That was really cool. It took you on all the, did the history. Skagway was there's a history of the miners when they came up, and that was where I guess they bought a lot of their stuff, and then they had to continue on, and it was, I don't know how many miles. I wish I can't remember, but you'll take if you take the White Pass train, you kind of go on the same path that they did. And so Skagway's cool, and they show you all that. And so I don't know if they found a lot of gold in Skagway. I think it was further up, like Dawson, but they have some of the mining equipment there, and they give you some dirt, if you will, and there's a little bit of gold. So I got a little bit. I think it was like, and they'll weigh it for you. And so I think I got like $8 worth of gold, and they'll put it in a little capsule with water for you. So yeah, that was fun.
Nice.
That is so cool.
It's a hello souvenir. Hello souvenir. Anything else besides gold that you could find up there? Any I don't know, any other jewelry?
A lot of people bring up mushing. Mushing in Alaska like almost disappeared because in the 60s, so mushing was, the way to get around, especially in the bush communities, which bush communities are the communities that are like, think north of Fairbanks, all of those communities.
Yes.
And that's how they got to village, things like that. And one of the famous mushing competitions, the Iditarod, was started by Joe Reddington because he wanted the Alaska Husky, which is a breed of dog that was kind of invented here, was disappearing. So he picked the Iditarod. It was a nice ode to the, there was a serum run that happened, and it actually started in Seward, not in Anchorage, but it started in Seward, and they brought the serum, the vaccine to all the native villages because there was, I guess, something going on that was killing people. So they had a serum. And so they started it, and it's now kind of morphed into the ceremonial start as in Anchorage, and then it goes up and it ends up in Iditarod. And there's two different routes. There's a northern and southern route. And they kind of switch it back and forth to kind of give, so more villages can participate, because the northern route will go to different stops in different villages than the southern route. And so that really brought the Alaska Huskies back to life, and they've thrived now. And there's been controversy about how they're taken care of, and I will bet you Alaska Iditarod mushing husky is way more healthy than somebody's dog sitting on a couch eating bonbons. So they love to run. I've been on sled dog rides where they're hooked up to each other leads, and then they have this like anchor, because if not, they would take off, and they go fast.
Wow.
And so they're anchored one time, and I'm getting on, and these dogs are jumping 4 feet, 5 feet in the air. They're so excited. They're kind of like, let's go. And so that's something, I mean, you're not going to see them in the snow, obviously, in the summertime, but they have different ports will have the opportunity to either mush with them with ATVs, or you can take like helicopter rides to the glaciers, and then you can mush with them on the glacier, which is super cool. But that's kind of another big thing that Alaska is famous for, is our dog mushing, and just something a cool different excursion that you can do up here.
That is so cool.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I seen some people do take the excursion that is like the helicopter that takes you to the glacier. I think that's really cool too to do. It's a little bit on the expense if you want to do that excursion, but I bet is amazing just to do it.
I tell people you can't do everything in Alaska. You just have to keep coming back. That's one thing.
Right.
Two, a lot of our ports are walkable ports. I mean, Ketchikan, you literally get off the boat and you're right in town. Juneau, same way, Skagway, it's about a quarter mile, but it's still a quarter mile to the western town of Skagway. It's a cute little western town. So I would say pick one or two big things that you really want to do, and then the other ports, just walk around. You're going to see so much. So that's kind of a good way, because it can, if you really go hog wild, it can cost more than the cruise easily.
Yeah.
And is it wheelchair accessible?
For which ones? For the dog mushing?
when you get off, no, when you get
Oh.
off at the different cruise ports.
Uh,
Juneau, you said, and
Yes, unless it's
Ketchikan.
tendered. There was some issues with avalanche, where there was an avalanche in Skagway, but I think that's all fixed now. So most of the ports, you don't have to tender, so that's not an issue. I would check with the if you're doing a ship excursion or if you're doing on your own excursions, just check to see if they're wheelchair accessible. A lot of the, like, I'm thinking Mendenhall Glacier in Juneau, going to the visitor center, which you can see a whole lot just going to the visitor center, is accessible. But then when you want to go out to the glacier, it could be a little gravelly, and so just depending on what your
Yes.
limits are, that might be a problem. But just check with your check with the excursion that you're going on to see what you can do.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Margot, thank you so much for all your information. That was a great, it's great to have somebody that lives there and can bring, those details that we don't know about, Anchorage. So this was great to have you on the show today.
Yes. Very
And-
informative.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to Eddie because Eddie has the secret that he needs to tell everybody before we get out of here.
By the way, Margot, thank you very much, and thank you for your service. And power to
Yes.
you. You got some braves ones to be up there, so you got it. So you move on, and you're very good. We'll see you next time. Nice to meet you in person. Finally here.
You as well, Eddie.
Yes. And by the way, October 28, 2024, leaving out of Tampa, Florida on the Carnival Paradise. We're going to be hitting a 6-day cruise. Leaving from Tampa, we're going to go down to Key West, Montego Bay, and Grand Cayman on 6 days. So any information that you need to know, find out with Bruce so you could do your deposit down to get your cabin as soon as possible. Tinkerbell will be there. She's in charge of the slot pool. Mike and Rihanna will be in charge of the Facebook group where you can find all the information you need for the hotels and stuff like that. We're going to be putting everything in there. House of X will be there also, taking care of an elegant night. It's going to be a Halloween cruise, so bring your costumes because Carnival, we have a costume contest on the Lido. And the specific
right.
night on Halloween night, it's also Jeremy and Cheryl will be there too for Cruising's Fun Anytime, and it's Jeremy's birthday. So we get to celebrate his birthday with him. He's finally turning 62. So we get to stack him around and all that, all right? And many, many other people. Cruise Nuts will be there. Ross from Orange Cone blog will be there also. Mr. Catanese also going to be there with his wife. Bruce and Cindy, Alice, me, of course. I'll be there too. Scott from Mustard Drill will be there also, and many, many other people. So get in touch with Bruce at Ocean to Ocean Travel to get your cabin. Boom!
Yeah, and also before we let everybody go tonight, I just wanted to not only thank Margot for being here today, but also how do I know Margot? Margot is also a Expedia Travel.
All right.
So she's at Expedia. She works with us here she's in Anchorage, but she's from our office here in Tampa. So if you ever want to get with Margot, you can always find Margot. Margot, give your email address. So for those people, I think because I don't know your email address, Margot.
Yeah, it's so it's M, the first letter of my name, M, and then NIREL. So MNIREL at expediacruises.com.
So if you're looking to booking or something like that, anything in Alaska, and you want Margot to help you guys out, so get in touch with her.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, because she can get you all that information.
And a land, the cruise tours are great. That kind of incorporates a cruise and land, so you get 7 days inside passage, and you see all the cool ports, and then you come up and you see the park, Denali National Park. You go to Talkeetna, all that fun stuff, or you can start your land in Fairbanks or Anchorage, and then see all that, and then take your cruise south back to Vancouver. So those are fun to do.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Well,
Nice.
we have reached our end of our show today. I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you, Margot, again, for coming into the show.
Yes.
I think we learned a whole lot about Anchorage. So I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you, Alice. Thank you so much, Eddie, for filling in for Keith and Mike. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening. And I see you guys next Wednesday. And we're going to be talking about which port?
Seattle.
Seattle. Ooh, that's going to be like kind of like hand in hand with Alaska. So now we're going to go to the port of Seattle. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So I see you guys
Okay.
in the next one. Thank you so
See
much.
ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.